The reason for many misunderstandings and/or conflicts in a workplace is that people judge each other on their intention by perceiving their behavior in a certain way. At the same time, they judge themselves on their own intention and have a certain behavior that in their mind correlates with the intention. The whole system of intentions, behaviors, perceived intentions, and perceived behaviors are filled with uncertainties. What is the other person's intention? Why is the other person behaving like he or she does? What is my own intention? What kind of behavior am I expressing? What kind of behavior do I want to express? Another person's intention is hardly ever expressed, so we guess it instead. We look at the other person's behavior and perceive what that kind of behavior means if we had it. We are not always aware if our own behavior supports our intention, or whether we are being judged by others on behavior that we are not aware of. The earlier a manager starts working on each individual in the team to get an understanding for each other and the manager, the greater the possibility of success. It is never too late to work on an understanding, and for the vast majority of teams, it is a relief to get an understanding for each other instead of perpetuating the conflict. Be open. Both as manager and employee, it is important to say his or her intentions out loud. It provides understanding instead of interpretations and judgments. The next step is to ask whether the behavior supports the intention and if the people around you are getting confused. If the employees are getting confused by the manager, they are most probably also becoming more skeptical and they are at risk of trust disappearing. We expect people to know our own intentions even though we sometimes do not know it ourselves. It comes from our inner values that are not visible, and sometimes not even to ourselves. At the same time, we're not running around with a mirror, so we can check if the behavior we have correlates with our intention, and we cannot control how the other person perceives us. When two or more persons are speaking together, there are lots of potential bonding and lots of potential conflicts. Imagine that you're speaking with a person, and above his or her head, you watch a film translating that person's personal expression. You will get to know what that person's real intention is, so you do not have to guess. At the same time, you will get a translation of the person's behavior and how you're supposed to perceive it. Here are two people who misunderstand each other because they cannot see the reasoning behind each other's behavior. I want you to do it. I believe so much in you, and I know that you're the best for this task. I think you should do it. He's so lazy and always wants somebody else to do it. I just think that you are better. I'm afraid I cannot live up to expectations. Yes, maybe, but I do not have the time. He's not gonna get me to do it. Will you help me? I really need some guidance to get started. I do not have the time for that. Nice try. This picture shows me and 4 different positions. A. I'm being misunderstood and don't know why. I have a good intention, but from the other person's reaction, I know that my behavior is not the best. I thought that it was, but I realized that it isn't. What I want to discover is what kind of behavior I should have to get the other person to understand my real intention. B. I'm doing the right things. I have a good intention and my behavior is good. I can see and feel that from the other person's response. We are matching and bonding at the moment. If this person's emotional intelligence is high, the person is aware of the situation in the moment and whether or not the relationship is fruitful. At the same time, this person does not believe that it goes for any relationship and any time. He or she will have full attention on the other person's response. If this person's emotional intelligence is low, the person is not aware that intention and behavior does not match in all situations. This person's self-image is most probably overestimated. C. I please people because I want to achieve something. I know that I do the right thing, but for a wrong reason. This is not who I am, but what I have to do to achieve what I want. D. I know that what I'm doing is not okay, but I'm hurt. I know that my behavior is not right, but I am so frustrated that I can't help myself. Right now, I just need to get rid of my frustration and I haven't thought it through and I don't know if what comes after is better or worse. But I'm so occupied with being in the present that I don't have the strength to be tactically wise. From these examples of different positions, it is easy to spot the complexity. and this is only the complexity within you. When a second person is added into the conversation, the complexity increases. E. I'm confused with that person saying one thing and doing another. I can see, hear, and sense that this person means well. I just can't figure out why the person is acting the way he or she is. It makes no sense to me, and I don't know whether to be happy or frustrated. So I'm confused instead, but do have to make up my mind. F. That person thinks and acts like me. Lovely. We're two of a kind, and we see things in the same way for what is right and wrong. It seems like I know exactly what this person is thinking and what he or she is going to say and do next. I love the relationship because it is easy to understand. G. This person is only pleasing me for the sake of personal winning. I can easily see that this person is trying to do what I and/or others prefer. I can also see, hear, and sense that this is not the preferred behavior. It does not come natural, and I can see from the body language that this person actually doesn't like it. I get the feeling that I or someone else is cheated, and I better watch out for this person's real intention. H. I don't like nor trust this person. This person's intention and behavior is so far from what I believe in. This person's inner values are not at all the same as mine. I will always be suspicious and either flee or flight when meeting this person. To increase the complexity even further, we can get the me and the other to have a relationship. In that relationship, we assume that the me is perceiving the other in the right way. A. I am being misunderstood and I don't know why. E. I am confused with that person saying one thing and doing another. Given that the person A perceives person E in the right way, then both persons respect the other one and trust that they want the best for each other. However, they do not understand what the other person expects them to say or do. At the same time, they unwillingly get very tired and frustrated in each other's company. B. I'm doing the right things. F. That person thinks and acts like me. Lovely. Given that the person B perceives person F in the right way, then these two persons' preferences for how to deal with tasks and how to handle relationships are very alike. They share the same inner values, and without any words, they are more or less able to know how the other person will react. They find synergies in similarity and will most probably miss synergies in the complementary. If so, they need to broaden their network to get inspired by people who are not similar. C. I please people because I want to achieve something. D. This person is only pleasing me for the sake of personal winning. Given that person C perceives person D in the right way, then these two persons are watching out for each other. They most probably do not trust each other, but are being polite and waiting for the other person's move. They will both try to avoid making mistakes and look for ways of getting maximum benefit out of each conversation. Since neither of them knows exactly what the other person is really trying to achieve, they are reluctant to force the tempo. They would rather gain less to ensure that they remain in the game. D. I know that what I'm doing is not okay, but I'm hurt. H. I don't like nor trust this person. Given that person D perceives person H in the right way, these two persons are in a conflict that cannot easily be solved. Person D needs to get rid of the frustration by acting with a bad behavior towards person H. Person D can also let the bad behavior out on someone innocent who is not a part of the conflict. It could, for instance, be a family member, colleague, or the bus driver. Person D is out of balance, and that balance needs to be restored before this person can be a part of solving the situation. If person H feels the same way as person D, he or she is also hurt and not ready to solve the situation either. Storytelling to others about the other party is common and gets these two persons further away from solving their conflict. There's no end to the complexity of relationships. In the previous examples, it was given that the me perceived the other in the right way. What if they don't perceive the other in the right way? What if they don't talk to each other about it? What if they start telling the wrong story to other people? What if they then discover that they were wrong? The 4 examples of relationships are only 4 out of 16 combinations. When adding that the me misinterpret the other, it becomes 64 different combinations. Add then more persons to the conversation and previous, present and future cultural issues, and there's no end to the complexity. Wonderfully complicated, and that is why we have fights in the schoolyard and ongoing wars in the world. What is the manager to do then? The manager is responsible for a good inner work-life balance for every employee in the team to ensure high positivity, leading to high productivity. Easier said than done. The manager can balance setting a clear direction and ensuring progress and helping the team members to develop themselves in a clever way. An important part of that is to get people to talk to each other to increase understanding. You can get a lot of inspiration for how to set a clear direction, ensuring progress and helping the team members to develop themselves by entering other leadership paths. This leadership path will concentrate on getting people to talk to each other to increase understanding. Enter the leadership path, lead and manage strategies to learn more about setting a clear direction. Enter the leadership path, lead and manage performance to learn more about how to ensure progress. Enter the leadership path, lead and manage people and lead and manage development to learn more about how to help the employees to develop themselves and maintain a good inner work-life balance. In See It in Action, you will find some examples of how a manager can act as a facilitator in a conversation between two team members to increase understanding. One of the two team members can even be the manager him or herself. In case the manager is one of the two team members, the manager has a double role, both to reflect upon own behavior and reflect upon the situation as such and how to move the conversation constructively forward. The manager uses the tool coaching and the role called facilitator, mediator, or game master. The examples are built upon situations between two people. If there are more people, the facilitator just adds more perspectives and includes all persons in the dialogue. The technique as such is the same, whether it is two or more team members who have to increase understanding and whether or not the manager is one of them. Enter the leadership path, lead and manage development to learn more about the coaching tool. You will be shown 4 examples of dialogues between two employees. These dialogues will hopefully give you inspiration on how to coach in different situations where you can increase people's productivity. The 4 situations are: avoid a potential conflict, get new inspiration and ideas, speed up the progress, and solve a conflict. Coaching the employees can be used in all other situations to coach 1, 2, or more persons to have a more fruitful relationship. If you have already entered the leadership path, lead and manage people, you have learned about 4 different profiles: the hunter, the conqueror, the scientist, and the nurse. You will get to know them again through these 4 examples. If you haven't yet entered lead and manage people, you can benefit from doing that at a later stage. In the examples, a certain mix of profiles has been chosen. It could be any mix, and if it is a different mix of profiles, the perspectives changes. You can replace the profiles and discover how you believe the conversation will turn out. Conflicts in a team usually occur because the team members do not understand each other. And why do others not act and behave just like me? When the understanding is not there, then the recognition of each other is not there either. Team members who for years have been together and who finally come to the conclusion that it is just a job and nothing more have probably been through a period of frustration. Each of them has been trying to get the others to understand who they are and what unfulfilled needs they have. They have not been heard and have probably not listened carefully to others themselves. They have not reached any compromises, and finally each of them have pulled back, creating a story about how Ben, Beatrice, Bart and Bobby are impossible to work with and that the manager fails to set things right. The story will be reinforced by being told at home, to friends and to other colleagues from other teams, and finally it becomes the truth. Imagine how hard it must be to discover that you have made a mistake and not judged another person fairly, and that you now need to tell all those you have told something different that you have made a mistake. It requires courage and energy, and for some people making mistakes is what they fear the most. Focus on what works. The combination of understanding others and telling them you're special is spread throughout the team when the manager is a role model and shows the way. When the manager is focusing on what does not work, then there is a greater risk that the employees will do the same. If the manager, on the other hand, focuses on, constantly points at, and recognizes what works, then there is a greater chance that the team members themselves appreciate each other's differences even more. When the manager recognizes and appreciates one of his employees in front of others, it then becomes clearer to the employees when they are a success. Recognition and appreciation is a good way of showing what kind of behavior the employees are measured on. Be observant of the positive and negative storytelling going on in the team. Support the positive and eliminate the negative. You support the positive storytelling by being appreciative upon it. You eliminate the negative storytelling by handling it with direct communication, facing the storytelling with questions.